If anxiety is in your life, whether it's in a little bit, like little dosages over time, or full-fledged in every day of your life, these techniques work. And I want you to hold out for the what if not, because this is a really good concept to help you stop anxiety coming back into your space. Because that's the biggest thing about it, right? Is you get good at getting it away and it just comes right back later or the next day or the following week. Whatever it is, these techniques are fantastic. It's something I've been using for a long time to not let anxiety take ownership and become the author of my life. What's up, you guys? My name is Mitch and I help make spirituality practical so that you can apply it to manifest your dreams. And the big thing about anxiety that we all experience and want to get out of is how it takes hold of your entire way of thinking. It ruins the whole day. And the first thing I want you to realize is anxiety is a thought. So it lives in your head and not in the moment. When there's something to really be scared of in the moment or nervous about, anxiety goes out the window and you're fully aware of the moment, which we're going to get into in the third point. But we're going to start out with number one, which is no opinions. Now, this is something that a lot of people find difficult to do. When we are feeling a sense of anxiety, stress, fear, uncertainty, what happens is we go and run to friends and family. We phone them up and we're like, listen, I need some help. This is what's happened. I'm feeling really anxious. And they give their third person perspective. And then we kind of feel a little bit better, but not enough. So we go and run to the next person and get their opinion. And we live off of everyone else telling us it's going to be okay, or they give us different ways to view it. And what that does is just make us move around the anxiety, but not quite get rid of the feeling that we have to experience every day. Now, this is something to grasp on first and firmly is don't ask anyone else what they think of the situation. This is your anxiety. And the best thing you can do is own it and deal with it within yourself. It's not the easiest thing to do, but once you start just living within your own truth and feeling what you got to feel, which is what we want to get into, that's how you get rid of it by yourself independently. You never need anyone else, and it's something you get to experience and deal with and move forward from, because it's always trying to grow you. So spiritually speaking, there is nothing you experience that isn't for your ultimate benefit. And that should help with a little bit of it. Every time you're experiencing it, just know that everything in your space, in your emotions, in your day-to-day life is there to serve you. So we want to get into feeling it freely. Now, anxiety and excitement are the same chemical release. So it's how we perceive it that turns it into either anxiety or excitement. So what we want to do is allow ourselves to feel the anxiety. The worst part about anxiety is that we don't actually feel it. The feeling we're feeling that is uncomfortable is holding the thing we're nervous about at bay. And when you hold these things away from yourself and you don't fully allow yourself to feel it, what starts to happen is those feelings of holding it away become the anxiety. If you just allow yourself to go, well, what is it? Think about it. If you're feeling something in your head, nothing is going to change in this world. Not directly, at least. So let yourself feel the crappy feeling. Just let yourself sit in it. So what you're going to do is just think about it. Start questioning it. Almost like this weird kid that you want to just invite into your circle to get to know. So you want to kind of invite someone over, that anxiety. You're inviting them over to get to understand them. And that's what you're doing in your own space. You're going to be like, what are you doing here? What do you want? And what you'll notice is as soon as you start to feel the anxiety and allow yourself to realize what it's doing, it starts pulling away things that aren't serving you. Certain ways of thinking, certain automatic emotional responses to things. The anxiety serves you. It will pull you away from those things. And what anxiety spiritually is a strong emotion trying to pull you back to your aligned self. So what it is, it's saying that you're hitting the electric fence, you're on the boundary. That's what anxiety is spiritually. So what you want to do with that is come back to your centered self. So you got to allow yourself to feel that anxiety so it can push you in the right direction. And then you're not holding it at bay, which is the uncomfortable feeling. I went through a very bad breakup with my partner now. We were apart for 1.5 years after 4 years together. And I remember that constant anxiety. I'd wake up feeling it. Early in the morning, I'd go to sleep late at night. And that anxiety was the reason that my life changed so much, because I was holding it at bay. I couldn't face it. And what it does is it just stays there until you give it attention. And when I finally surrendered to it, I'm like, what do you want here, anxiety? It's either you or me, but we can't be here together. and I allowed myself to feel it, I realized I wasn't worried about certain things that I was before. I started seeing things differently. So it shapes the way that you think about things when you allow yourself to feel it. And what that does is help you move past it. So the important thing to realize is that any emotion or anything in your space is there to serve you. It wants to help you come back to your aligned version of you. So allow yourself to feel the anxiety. And set a timer on your phone, because you don't want to wallow away in that forever. But put it for 5 minutes on your phone. Say 5 minutes where I'm allowed to feel my anxiety. And you allow yourself to feel it for 5 minutes. When that bell goes, you go and make yourself a cup of coffee or go and eat. Get out of that space, but just allow yourself the time to process what is in your space. Next is aware of the now. So once you've not asked for anyone's opinion and you've allowed yourself to feel what you got to feel, you become aware of the moment. I speak about this in a lot of my videos, but awareness is getting out of your head, and that's where anxiety lives. I promise you now, there's no anxiety on the wall. There's no anxiety inside the cupboard. The anxiety is all in your head. So if you get out of your head and into the moment, and your awareness is on what's happening around you, you won't be stuck in the space that it's affecting you. And the way that you do that is by connecting with 5 senses, all 5 of your senses. So you go to sight, look at the distance between you and things, sound, how far certain sounds are, become aware of your ability to smell, your ability to taste, and then that you can feel temperature, you can feel clothes, you can feel things on your whole body. And when you get into your sensory sort of awareness and you become aware of your senses, you're in the moment. Because anxiety is of a future thing that may happen. And that's why this what if not is so important. Next is your cell phones. You need to stop getting on your phones, especially with that anxiety, especially if you have things to do. If you're feeling a sense of anxiety, my honest advice to you is don't go on Instagram, don't go onto social media, put your phone down for a good hour and have a break from it. If you need to work, work. But when you're allowing yourself to feel anxiety, the phone must not be a part of your story. It should be on do not disturb. Because these notifications that keep coming through are these quick serotonin hits to get you back up. And what that does is fluctuate all of your energy and your actual chemical makeup in your body while you're going through and getting these dopamine hits as you're looking through your phone and going through Instagram and going through Reels. Put the phone away. When you're feeling, it's about becoming aware of your space now, you as a whole, not portions of your thinking. You want to become aware in the moment, fully aware. And to do that, you need to put the phone down. So it's the big one. If you can get rid of using your phone or leaning to that as soon as something's happening as your sort of crutch, you'll feel a lot better because it allows you to be here and now without the connection to everything else. So it turns your attention inward, and that's how you can get rid of the anxiety. And getting into the last point, and this is probably the one that will shift your thinking the most. Anxiety is built off of what if this goes wrong? It's not built in the moment. It's not like, oh, I'm anxious about my next step. It's anxious about something that could happen. But you got to think to yourself for a second, how brilliant is my mind that it could bring up the only possible outcomes for a situation? What you realize is not that great. I mean, if we just look at our eyes, okay, the ability to see a portion of the electromagnetic spectrum, your eyes cannot even see 1% of what's going on in the electromagnetic spectrum. So how could you even trust your ability to create a potential outcome if you can't even see 1% of the things going on around you? And we go, what if this happens? Well, what if it happens? What if one thing is different in that what if? What if 2 things are different? There are so many potential outcomes. How do you know that you're right? How do you know that that's what's going to happen? Why live there anyway when it's uncomfortable? So you want to get out of that whole thing of like, oh, what if this happens? Because there's equally a what if not. It's a coin flip, what's going to happen? What if it doesn't fall apart? What if not? And when you start embodying that, when you start thinking, oh, what if this happens? Or what if it doesn't? Because we don't know what's going to happen. So getting rid of this preparation for the future catastrophe is a waste of your time. And let's think about it. If your days were numbered, hypothetically, and there was no solution to that, like things are going to happen and there's no, even if you're going to lose all your senses, maybe you're not going to unalive, but if you're going to lose all of your senses in like the next day, are you going to want to spend your last moments worrying about the future that you have no control over. If you knew when that end was, you wouldn't be thinking about, oh, well, what about this anxiety-ridden catastrophe that may happen? So a great way to start thinking about things is to go, okay, I'm not going to worry about this potential catastrophe. Nobody knows which day is going to be our last. Nobody knows when it's all going to end. If it was in the next hour or the next day, why would you want to be panicking about something that you can't control? And that way of thinking, that what if not? What if I'm not even here? Who promised you tomorrow? So that's why it's to go, okay, well, nothing is guaranteed. What do I have right now? Let's enjoy that to the max. Because if it ends, then I've enjoyed my last however many days, moments, hours. That's a way more sustainable way to live, to be grateful of everything around you. And that is the magic juju on top of all of it. If you want to get out of anxiety, this is actually a bonus tip. If you want to get right out of anxiety and into something that helps you feel better, swap it out for gratitude. So a quick fix, when you're feeling anxious, literally name 10 things and feel and think about how grateful you are for them. If it's your mom, if your mom's still around, just sit and think about how grateful you are to have her. If it's that you're sleeping under a roof, because some people don't have that, feel the gratitude for 10 things in your anxious moments, and it will completely get rid of it. Because you can't be grateful and anxious at the same time. Because gratitude is anchored in the moment. It's being aware of what's around you. Anxiety is in your head and far away. So I really hope this video resonates. If there's some points you want to discuss, I respond to all of my comments. So leave me a comment, chat to me in the comment section. I am present there, I do reply. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you haven't already, I'd appreciate it so much if you could subscribe to this channel and help me carry on spreading the message of making spirituality practical so that other people and yourselves can manifest your dream life. Thanks so much for watching. Mad love and light.